I am 18 years old and I grew up with a lot of privilege. I leave my keys unlocked in a car that I didn't have to pay for. The high school I went to is nicer than most college campuses. I wasn't even aware of the 2008 economic crisis when it occurred, and most importantly, I never had to worry about where or when my next meal was coming. I was fortunate enough to grow up in a fantasy land where the struggle was not real. But this is not the case for everyone around me. My best friend from elementary school grew up poor. I was too ignorant to understand the differences between our lives until recently. We went to the same school and even lived in the same neighborhood, but he grew up with 8 brothers and 1 sister in a single income household. We would play together every day, but I would rarely ever see his father, but at the time I did not understand why. His dad worked 2 jobs, first as a bus driver in the mornings and then as a cashier at Target at nights. My friend would always insist on coming over to my house, and he would never shy away from eating as much as possible. Our school lunches looked quite different. I would always have some form of vegetable, a Granny Smith apple because they were my favorite, chips, a treat, and some form of main course. My friend's lunches consisted of this: a single piece of bread folded in half with peanut butter, pretzels, and the occasional yogurt cup. No drink. He would always insist that that was all he needed, but now I realize it was all his family could afford. Food insecurity is a very real issue. It's in my neighborhood and it's in yours too. You may not be able to see it directly, but 1 in 10 households face food insecurity. I grew up in a fortunate neighborhood. Think about the people who grew up less fortunate. In neighborhoods closer to the city of Pittsburgh, such as McKees Rocks and the North Side, up to 70% of households face food insecurity. These children are not able to focus in school or sleep comfortably because they are hungry, but you can help. The biggest problem with food insecurity is the lack of awareness with the issue. I went 18 years with this issue right in my face, and I was still ignorant to it. Doing further research about food shortages in your area is the first very important step you can take to fix this issue. Starting a personal garden and moving more towards self-sufficiency is also something that is very important. Oftentimes, people that live in impoverished areas also live in what is considered a food desert. This means that the only easily accessible food they have comes from convenience stores, not a proper grocery store. Growing your own vegetables can help if you live in a food desert. Also, writing to city planners to make them more aware of this issue will hopefully move your city in the right direction. I would like to end with a quote from an unknown author. Success is about how many people lived a better life because you've lived. An important person in my life showed me this, which leaves me with a challenge for all listeners. Do your research, contact people in charge, and finally, grow your vegetables. Peace in, peace out.